hasn't been an easy decision for me to run, and I had to think quite a bit about it. But at the end of the day, I see some issues in town, and I feel that based on my background experience, it's something I can bring to the table. Of course, there's no silver bullet for all the issues, but like I said, I have some experience in civil service and law enforcement. And in my opinion, the biggest issue our city faces is our community safety. So with that said, I feel that we do need to bridge the gap between City Hall and the local law enforcement department, the Fargo Police Department. And I feel, again, with my experience, it's something I can bring to the table. While I was in the process of running, I started discovering some other issues that became near and dear to my heart. And I feel that using common sense approach to those issues is something that I can also bring to the table and just focus on the issue and not on the loud voices in the room that are trying to distract us from what really is happening. Well, this is something new, and I don't know really how I feel about that. Has it affected my strategy? The answer would be perhaps no. I'm running on ideas. I'm not running to make a name for myself. I'm not running to start a political career. I'm just running on ideas. So I guess in a way, it's probably a good thing that I can pick and choose from people that have similar ideas to mine. And for example, one of the other candidates has similar ideas to mine. We obviously differ in a couple other aspects, but I feel that maybe that'd be a good way, if I don't win, to perhaps put that other candidate's name on the ballot, and perhaps they would have a chance to bring that idea to City Hall, so that the issues that we face can be approached from the right direction. With that said, though, I'm a little bit more old-fashioned, and I feel that with such a large pool of candidates, perhaps, I guess we'll run on trial and error and see how the system would work. But I feel that when you have such a large pool of candidates, perhaps you should have some kind of a primary election beforehand, and select the two candidates that would face each other at the election. So I'm a little bit on the fence, but I'm open-minded, and let's see how that goes. I do, actually. I feel that it is important to not have a commission at large. I feel that we should divide our city into wards, and each region should have a respective representative, or in this case would be a council member, that would bring the issues of their region to the table. Fargo is big enough that if we separate the town into 4 wards, I don't think that would be that would bring adequate representation to those regions. So perhaps if we go with the approach of adopting ward system and maybe adding 2 to 4 more seats to the council, to the city commission, and in this case would be city council, that will bring just a little bit more adequate representation to the table. It would bring people's voices to the table. I don't think the number should exceed 8. I think for a city with our size, I think 8 is a good number. We can, I guess gerrymander would be the wrong way, but we can divide our city into appropriate districts, and each district or each ward would have their respective representative. I guess I don't have an answer for you. I don't know how big the population would get. I think for the current population and for the current rate of expansion, I think the number 8, 4 to 8 would be an adequate number. But we also can't make the mistake that Minot did a while back, and they had, 15 representatives or something like that, 14? It was just a large number. And I just feel that can bring issues of their own. So we don't want to go too far ahead. We don't want to go too far to one end, but we can't. But I don't think that 4 would be an appropriate number. Absolutely, that is actually one of my key issues in my platform. I feel with the size of Fargo and with Fargo growing, it would be unwise to stay with the current governing system. And we definitely need to divide the city into wards. That would definitely bring more representation, more local representation. Currently, a large majority of our city leaders live in North Fargo. So I am not saying that they're not familiar with the issues in South Fargo, but I don't think they're intimately familiar with the issues in South Fargo. And I feel that if, for example, great example, 32nd Avenue, if we had a representative from the area of 32nd Avenue where they'll be doing the renovation project, that person will probably bring a little bit more of a sober look at what the needs of that project would have been. Instead of adding a walkable space there, they can maybe bring to the table that, hey, we really have traffic congestion issue. We don't resolve traffic congestion by removing a lane. It's actually the other way around. So I understand that our city leaders try to make our city more vibrant and whatnot, but at the end of the day, dividing the city into wards focuses directly on the issues within those areas, and those representatives would have a lot more face-to-face communication with their constituents in that area, and they will be more familiar with the issues, and those issues would get resolved a lot more efficiently. I feel that probably that should be outsourced to some sort of independent entity that would not be affected. This process should not be politically affected. This process should not be income affected. This process should be area of, specific. And obviously some areas are more affluent in Fargo than others. But it is very important that we divide the city in a way that everybody is equally represented and that voices are not taken away from people. I guess, yeah, that could be potentially a concern, but at the end of the day, I believe that everybody that runs for a city commission here in Fargo and that everybody that serves has their heart in the right place. And we just need oversight, and we need to have clear ethical expectations. And I feel that, yeah, a local ward would have their elected representative. Well, we all live in Fargo, so are there local issues that are central for those areas? Absolutely. But we all live in Fargo, and we all want to see Fargo grow and prosper. So again, I feel that if your heart is the right place to run and to be elected, and obviously if you're doing this, your heart is in the right place, then you would care about what's most important for our city, for our community. And the idea behind wards is not so much to have your area of town prosper, but to have more of an equal representation of the issues from your area of town. But in general, the city council in that case would be, if we were to pass a ward system, would definitely strive for making our city a better place in general. So we all live here. This is our community. That is absolutely necessary. We have to make sure Fargo is growing. There is a lot of money in Fargo right now. There is a lot of investments. There is a lot of development. And I don't think somebody should be stopped from being a city commissioner because they have money invested in certain interests. However, though, I think it should be required for representatives to disclose their interests and to withdraw themselves from voting on certain issues, because we don't want people who are there to enrich themselves. And again, I'm not saying that representatives do, and I know that even with current representatives, if I agree or disagree with them, I feel that their heart is in the right place. But I feel that there should be an ethical standard that all of them should disclose any financial interests or any interest whatsoever when voting on certain issues. Well, I hate to see expanding government, but there are certain things that maybe we can have as a part-time position or something, that some ethical committee, if you will, or a person who is in charge of ethics, somebody who is not elected, somebody who is, even if elected, I guess that will probably open a lot of can of worms. But a person who is appointed through majority votes, and a person who is absolutely impartial, and a person who does not answer to the mayor or to the commission, and yes, we do need transparency. We need some kind of a enforcement body that would enforce ethics and interests. Well, we have our state laws, we have our federal laws, and if there's just ethical standards that have been ethical lines that have been crossed, we have the court of public opinion, and we have great journalists in Fargo, and that definitely should be revealed to the public, and it will be up to the public whether or not they want to recall that representative, or they'll let them continue and just not elect them next time around. If there are any criminal lines that have been crossed, absolutely, we have Bureau of Criminal Investigation. Depending on the case, there is also the feds have enforcement bodies. So we just work together. I see why not. However, though, with growing city, we're going to have growing issues. We're going to have growing concerns that will be put on the table of in front of the commission. So perhaps maybe it can be considered to be every Monday. I don't think meetings should start at 5 and should be done at 8, 9, depending on how long the issues would take. So currently, I think it would suffice to keep 5 o'clock every other Monday. However, though, with growing city, with the growing issues in town, I feel that maybe down the road it would be probably wise to look into moving into once a week instead of once every other week. Well, that's a hot issue. It's been okay. So yes, I do feel that. I do support ballot initiatives, and I feel that it's very important at times for people to raise concerns and to raise issues and to collect the signatures and to put it for the voters to decide. Simple majority, I don't. I feel that we should have a supermajority for hot issues, just like the feds do, and I will just leave it at that. Of course, I'm talking about the state government. As far as local issues, I feel that majority would suffice. But I was just thinking about some of the things that are going on right now in the state of North Dakota. But I do feel that for our state governing body, I think that supermajority would be probably the appropriate route to go. As far as in the city of Fargo, I feel that currently majority vote rules. Yes, they should. I feel that I hate to be corny and use quotes, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. So we don't want that to happen. And perhaps 2 to 3 limits max should not be exceeded. I'm a little bit on the fence, I guess. My personal feelings is that power does corrupt, and power does change people. And I feel that the longer people stay in power, the more they lose track of what us, the little people, are facing day to day. But then also, I'm such a believer in democracy, and I feel that maybe it should be up to the voters to decide. So I'm kind of on the fence, 50-50, leaning more toward limits, leaning more toward 2 or 3 limits at max, because I do feel that power does change people. But yeah. So as far as the mayor, that position should be a full-time position. There is no ifs, ands, or but there. That should be a full-time position. It should be compensated appropriately for a city leader. I don't think that $50,000 is the appropriate compensation for a mayor of a major city. And with everything that we're facing, that should not be a part-time position. That whoever's a mayor, their full attention should be the city of Fargo, the interests of the people of City of Fargo. As far as the commission, currently, the way we are with the size of our city, I feel that it is appropriate to have part-time commissioners. Again, if the city grows and we go in a different direction down the road, 10, 15 years down the road, perhaps that would change. Nobody goes in city government for the money. We go there to make the city a better place. So I personally would have ran, even if it was a free position and I had to donate my time. I'm not doing it for the money. I am not doing it for compensation. I'm doing it because I feel that I can bring something to the table. And I feel that the rest of the candidates, and I feel the current commissioners, are not there for the money either. They're there because their heart is in the right place. We can agree or disagree with the issues, but at the end of the day, their heart is in the right place. There should be some kind of a compensation. Obviously, you are devoting a large amount of your time into the city. Again, we don't want to make this. I'm fiscally conservative, so I want to save money. I don't feel that commissioners should be there full-time positions making $100 or to $200,000 salaries. But I feel that they should be compensated. I mean, for being a part-time job, I think it's compensated properly, and I feel that it should continue being part-time, and I feel that the rate of compensation should perhaps increase with inflation and with standard of living. I feel that there should be some kind of compensation. Perhaps, again, maybe find a happy median and find a hourly number that we can compensate them for their time. Nothing outrageous. We have to be fiscally conservative, and we have to. The city shouldn't be in the business of making money, but of course, taxes are the price that we pay to live in civilization, and taxes have to go somewhere. And if there are people that are giving their hearts and soul for the community, they should be compensated for that. I don't think I can talk about that because I am self-funded. With that said, I don't think there should be a limit, but I feel should be full transparency. I am increasing civil engagement. I am a new American, came here to the U.S., never planned to stay in the U.S., and I'm engaged in this community. I see other candidates, new Americans, came here to this country with absolutely nothing, some of them as refugees, and they're engaged. I feel that our community in general is engaged, and I feel that people see that and people recognize that, and people see that, hey, this guy, he came here in 2003, barely speaking the language, and now he's running for city office. So people see that if I can be engaged, then if they have an issue that's near and dear to their heart, they can be engaged too. So in a way, not really leading, because I don't consider myself to be this leader figure, but just showing what I'm doing would probably encourage people, because I feel that people are a little bit intimidated by politics, and people are a little bit intimidated especially by local politics. I mean, there are some hot issues, and sometimes things get out of hand and are less civil than we'd like them to be. But when people see that other people, such as me, are running for commission, and they themselves consider being engaged, so by example. That's a hot issue, I suppose, because local governments, cities, counties, and then states and the feds, there have been always issues, and we see it daily. Different levels of government have different ideas of how things should be. I feel that as long as there are no legal boundaries that are crossed, as long as we have good legal advice on certain issues. You mentioned an issue. Let's say we have an issue that's near and dear to our heart. The city leaders want that to happen. The residents of Fargo at large want that to happen. I feel that going through good legal representation, getting a good legal advice, and negotiating and communicating with the state what our intentions are, I feel that things can be achieved. I don't think that the city should jump ahead and start enacting changes left and right, because because there has to be some kind of a balance. And I feel that just working together, communicating, and bringing the issues to the public, that is a paramount. I mean, people of Fargo are one of the biggest send one of the most people in our state government from any other large city. So if issue is indeed near and dear to our heart, just let's have people from our town bring those to Bismarck, and hopefully that changes. So currently I am on Twitter and Facebook, and I have a website. My campaign website is yes4ves.com, and it's the number 4, so it's yes, the number 4, ves.com. Before the end of this month, so before the end of April, I'll be updating the website with issues, with news. I would also have area that people can click if they choose to have a yard sign. And I'll deliver those to them. I'll be more than happy to engage with people in a dialogue. On Twitter, I have already, and it was a disagreement, but this is the beauty of democracy, and with what's happening right now with Twitter, it's the beauty of free speech. Starting the end of this month, I'll be a lot more active on my social media, and I'll be a lot more engaged with my website. I'll be posting news there, interviews such as this one, and events that I'll be participating. I'll perhaps open a question box where people can directly engage me with comments or questions. And I'm more than welcome also to do things in person. If somebody watching this has concerns or comments, or would like to sit down and have a beer or a coffee or something, I'll be more than happy to sit down with them and discuss the local issues and give them my perspective.